welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. Summer solstice is just around the corner, or midsummer as Shakespeare would have called it. But whatever we call it, what it means is it's time for another highly aspirational seasonal TBR. So here we go. Let's get right into it. What am I reading right now? I am reading Mark Lawrence's Red Sister and having a fantastic time getting back to a Mark Lawrence book. I am absolutely a fan of this guy's writing. He is one of the most brilliant writers in the genre today, and I'm delighted to be reading a new trilogy by Mark Lawrence. I am a huge fan of the Broken Empire trilogy and the Red Queen's War trilogy. This is in an entirely new world, a different place, but it is still the same rich, clever Mark Lawrence writing with a lot of witty banter, a lot of really interesting use of flashbacks in order to forward the plot. Just a fantastic read so far. He really hits the sweet spot for me when it comes to entertaining reads that also make me think. So I'm having a blast with this, and I should be done with it fairly soon and putting out a review. Next, I will be reading, and these few books I have here are actually pretty firm in my schedule, so we can rely on the first few books in the pile, maybe even this entire pile, being something that I'm going to read in the next upcoming weeks. We'll see. There are more books here than weeks in the summer, I think, but we'll see what I can get squeezed in. Highly aspirational. But anyway, I am definitely going to read, after I finish Mark Lawrence's Red Sister, I'm going to be reading a self-published book by Jeffrey Speight called Paladin Unbound, and it is the first book in the archives of Evelium. So very much looking forward to this. I am committed to reading and reviewing self-published books on the channel, shining a little spotlight on self-published fantasy. It is definitely part of my mission here. And I have heard good things about Jeffrey Speight's writing, and so I am very much looking forward to giving this a chance. And after that, I am going to be reading the next book in the Dark Tower series, Book 6, Song of Susanna. And this is another fairly quick read, and which is good because Book 7 is a big chunk of a book, but this one shouldn't take me too long, and the print is nice and big for my aging eyes, so that's a good thing. And I'm looking forward to it very much. I know that this is where the fandom of the Dark Tower series divides, where a lot of people are like, I cannot go that crazy. I cannot go with that bizarre turn of events. But others are quite happy with where it goes. So I'm interested to see where I fall in this. I am definitely a huge fan of the series thus far. I still think Wizard and Glass is my favorite. That's book 4. But I really loved the Wolves of the Kala as well. So absolutely interested in seeing where book 6 takes me. And I have a feeling it is going to be a lot of weird places. So I'm looking forward to that. And after I finish that, I am pretty sure that I will be reading The Crippled God. Yes, it is here. The end of the Malazan reread is nigh, because my excellent friend A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon is now going to be reading Dust of Dreams, Book 9, which I read some time ago, and I've been waiting to have our discussion, but as many of you know, AP has been suffering from some really awful migraines. Fortunately, I'm happy to say that he is coming out of that now, and he is back to reading. And so, I can say with reasonable confidence that we will be having our Dust of Dreams discussion almost certainly next week. Very excited for that, and so that we'll be having, as we were always doing with the previous books, we'll be having a spoiler-free discussion that will appear on my channel, and then a spoiler-filled discussion that will appear on AP's channel, A Critical Dragon. And then I'm going to start reading The Crippled God. I'm just going to, boom, right, go into it. In many ways, Dust of Dreams and The Crippled God are one book, or one story, as it were. And I'm really excited. I've read it before. This is a reread, but I am just as excited as if I had never read it, because even though I know what's coming, I can't wait to experience it again and to experience it on a deeper level, as I have been doing with all the books in the series. What a series. I don't know if any other series I've ever read is as rewarding in terms of the reread as Malazan has been for me. There'd be a very short list of books that I could say that of. So this is something that I am very, very, extremely excited to be getting to. And speaking of extremely excited and all that, I'll also, after I finish that, be finishing the other main Malazan series, which is Novels of the Malazan Empire by Ian C. Esslemont. I am going to be reading A Sail. This is the final book, book 6, the final book in the Great Malazan Read. AP and I have been reading the 10 books of the Malazan Book of the Fallen and the 6 books of Novels of the Malazan Empire together. And this is the only Malazan book that I have not read yet. So, the only published Malazan book that I have not read yet. And I am incredibly excited for it, based on what I've heard about it, based on what Ian Esslemont himself has told me is in this book. I think it is going to be for me. So yeah, just incredibly, this is a fantastic summer, folks, and I cannot wait to finish this. And AP and I will be finishing our great Malazan read together. But fear not, people. We will find other great books to read together and talk about and find funny ways to make fun of each other while doing so. In fact, once we finish Malazan, AP and I, and we'll be joined by Jimmy from the Fantasy Network, are going to be starting the Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wurts. I recently had Janny Wurts on my channel to discuss her standalone book, and it was an incredible experience. We had Joanna there, and we had Blaze from Under the Radar SFF Books, and we had a fantastic time talking about To Ride Hell's Chasm. I got a good taste of Janny Wurts' writing, and it has made me even more excited to tackle this massive series, 11 books. And they're not tiny books either. 11 book series, beginning with Curse of the Mist Wraith. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited for this. It is going to be an epic experience and the central event of the channel this year. And hopefully Janny Wurts will be joining us for some of the discussions. The books are broken up into various arcs. So there are 11 books in the series, but there are various arcs of differing lengths within those 11 books. The first book, Curse of the Mist Wraith, I believe is its own arc. And then when you get to books 2 and 3, which are actually contained in the hardcover version, books 2 and 3 are contained in one volume. So it says Ships of Merior on the cover, but it actually contains both that and Warhost of Vastmark. So there are 2 books in here, thank goodness, because this is a big book. And it would be lovely to get to, and then these are Arc 2 as well. And there are, I think 5 arcs total in the series. So I am very excited. I hope that we'll get to Arc 2 as well, at least Ships of Merior during the summer, because it is likely that we'll be doing Curse of the Mist Wraith and probably late July. So I would anticipate doing Ships of Merior in August, in late August perhaps. So that's what it's looking like, folks, and boy am I excited for all this. Another thing I'm excited for, I mentioned Song of Susanna earlier, and I'm going to finish the Dark Tower series this summer. That is a major priority for me, and it would have been a priority anyway, but I'm sort of tagging along with the folks on Mike's Discord at Mike's Book Reviews, who are reading the Dark Tower series one a month, starting on the 19th of each month. And so they are going to be reading the Dark Tower, the final book, 7th book of the series, on July 19 starting. So I am going to kind of aim for that and finish it. And I have already reached out to the quartet that had joined me for a discussion of the Dark Tower earlier. We discussed books 1 through 3 a little ways back. And so hopefully Mike and Sarah and Chaz will be rejoining me when we talk about the entire series in late July. That is the goal. It might get bumped to early August, but I can promise that a late July, early August discussion of the entire Dark Tower series is going to happen. So yeah, we are following the path of the beam, folks. Very exciting stuff. And another book that I must get to this summer. R. Scott Bakker, The Darkness That Comes Before. I have been kicking this one down the road. This can has been kicked so many times. There are all kinds of dents in it at this point. But I am going to get to this book this summer. I have agreed to a buddy read, actually, with Alan. And I'm not sure what kind of shape he's going to be in this summer in terms of his reading. I know he has a lot of stuff to get to. So I hope he will be still on board with that. And I know that Jimmy was interested in talking about this book with us. A lot of folks love this book. I am told that it is a very grim read, and I am ready for that. We will see just how depressing it gets. That might determine how quickly I get to the second book. Although I can't imagine I would not continue reading from all the praise that I have heard of R. Scott Bakker's writing in this series. I'm committed really to at least reading the Prince of Nothing trilogy. I don't know about the entire series, but I will commit to reading the Prince of Nothing trilogy at the very least. And I will begin by reading The Darkness That Comes Before this summer. You heard it, folks. Hold me to it. Okay? And other books that I hope to get to this summer, and I'm reasonably certain I will be finishing off this Mark Lawrence trilogy with Grey Sister and Holy Sister, books 2 and 3, in the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. They are not huge books, and I really enjoy Mark Lawrence's writing. Just flies by for me, so I'm pretty confident that I will be able to get to them, and I might even squeeze them in between some of these bigger reads for just a break. And speaking of squeezing in between bigger reads, something that I have been telling people forever that I'm going to read, David Gemmell. This is a book that I want to read with AP. I hope that it is something that we'll be able to cover together and squeeze it in between perhaps the Janny Wurts reads or Malazan reads or whatever. I want to get to David Gemmell's legend, at least legend, this summer. And I have the next couple books in the Nigh series on my shelf, ready to go as well. So it is something that I am excited for. There are so many authors that I love who are clearly inspired by David Gemmell, who have said they're inspired by David Gemmell. And I am going to love this book, I think, based on what I hear. So very, very important priority for me as well. There are a lot of those. And then, of course, Dresden. Speaking of books I can squeeze in between bigger reads, I'm going to continue in Dresden. I am now on Death Masks, book 5. So I think that is something I can... These are, again, pretty large print, and they fly by. The Dresden books just fly by. So I would like to get to a couple more. I've got books 5 and 6 ready to go. That is Death Masks and Blood Rites. So hopefully I will be able to squeeze at least one of those, if not both, in this summer, in between reads. And I think around book 7 is where people say it really starts to get epic, and you can't just wait so long in between the books. They're much less episodic. So I think maybe it's starting in the fall is when I will probably get serious about Dresden Files and have to read one a month or so. So we'll see. Another one that I would really like to get to is The Blood of Elves by Andrezj Sapkowski, and I'm sorry for my pronunciation of his name, but I do anticipate that this will be an interesting one for me. I did enjoy the first 2 books, not of the series proper, but the 2 short story collections, where I got to know Geralt and company and enjoyed that for the most part a lot. There's a lot of great things to say about those short story collections, and I have reviewed them. Also tried the Witcher 3 game, if you haven't seen me do that before. It was kind of a fiasco, but I had a very patient teacher. There's a video of it if you want to check that out, where my student tries to teach me to play The Witcher 3 and educates me about video games in general. So, but I am very much looking forward to getting a taste of the novels proper, because I know that's going to be a little bit different from the short stories. So that's something I would like to get in there, as well as eventually, and this might not happen until the fall, but it would be really cool to get started with the Robin Hobb reread / read of Realm of the Elderlings. I say reread because I have read the first 2 trilogies already, but AP and I are talking about doing a read-through of the Realm of the Elderlings together, and we would start at the beginning with the Farseer trilogy, which I read years ago, so it really would be good for me to do a reread of Farseer. So that is something hopefully we'll be able to squeeze in, maybe not until fall, early fall. And again, similar thing here with Sunderland Ascends, the first book, and the Books of Babel. This is a series that I'm really anxious to get to. Based on what people have told me, I anticipate I'm going to love the Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. And there are too many other books for me to get to. That's the only problem. But I will read this series. If I don't get to it in the summer, it'll be a priority for the fall. But if things go really, really well, I might get to it in the summer. And a couple of self-published books here. And I actually have another one that I haven't received yet, but I have committed to reading in August. And that one is by Vaughn Roycroft. And I anticipate that is going to be a very good book. Very good book. And I'm excited for it. I'll tell you more about that, though, as we get closer to August. But that won't be until August. I do have a couple others that I want to get to, and I'll probably read them in the order that I received them or in the order that I committed to reading them. So the next one up is going to be Dead Boy's Game and The Broken Vow. This is by A. David Singh, and I will be reading this one in July. I can be very firm on that. It's a pretty quick read here, pretty slim volume, so I don't think it'll take me too long, and I'm excited to check out yet another self-published author here. And one that I'm very excited about and I've been hearing a lot of buzz about and a lot of enthusiasm for is A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdalla. And I think this probably will end up happening in September, since I'm already committed to that other self-published book in August. So I am very excited. And what a beautiful cover, too. So I'm excited for this because I have heard lots of good things about it. So yeah, there's my summer, and probably some extra as well. We'll see how much of these I get to. Will he finish all those books? We'll see. But whatever it is I get through, I intend to enjoy myself thoroughly. Also, while I'm here, let me take the opportunity to thank all of you subscribers, both the ones who've been around for 2.5 years, and those who are relatively recent, because there are a lot of new subscribers on the channel, and thank you very much. Thank you for trusting me enough to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it deeply, and I look forward to hearing from some of you and interacting with you guys as I review and talk about all these books. So I'm very excited for those interactions to come. And I also think that as I am creeping closer and closer here to 15,000 subscribers, wow, 15,000, I will probably do some kind of special thing to commemorate that. So if I do hit 15,000 subscribers, I will do a live stream. I'm getting pretty good at those live streams now, right? I've done 3 of them now, and I feel like I've got it down. So I will do a live stream to celebrate, just a Q&A. You guys, whoever can come, it would be great to see you. And let's chat together. Let's have a good time talking about whatever comes up, whatever you want to bring. So yeah, that's it for me for now. Until next time.